We made it to Wednesday, everyone. Hello and welcome. This is our vocational prep lesson for today. We're going to continue our unit on career awareness, and today we're continuing our discussions on working in a restaurant, part 2. So last week we talked about the positions of cashier and waiter or waitress in a restaurant. So today we're going to talk about 2 new positions. All right, we already know most of this basic work vocabulary, so I'll just let you glance over it for, a minute. The terminology really doesn't change depending on where you're working. Just your classification as an employee, as well as how much you make, right? Your schedule is going to differ and your employer is going to be different. But in this case, it's the restaurant. And so the employee works at the restaurant. The schedule tells them the hours and days that they'll come in. And the hourly wage is how much money you'll make based on the position that you're in. All right, so today we're going to talk about the positions of table busser, otherwise known as a busboy, and chef/cook. So a table busser is someone whose job it is to clean up the dirty dishes from a customer's table after they have left. They also clean the seating area and bring dirty dishes back to the kitchen where they clean them. They also help set the tables when needed. So in this picture, you can see this gentleman is cleaning the table. So he's already removed the dirty dishes. There's usually like a cart that they'll push around where they will take the dirty dishes and place them into the cart according to whether it's cups or plates. And so they play an integral role in keeping the restaurant clean and making sure that when people leave, the tables are cleaned in a timely manner to make room for new customers who are going to sit down and eat at the restaurant. This is the cart I was talking about. Notice how there are 2 different trays. One is for cups and one is for dishes. All right, so the requirements of this position of table busser. A table busser needs to be able to move quickly and efficiently to move dirty dishes from a table. So you don't want to take your sweet time. You definitely want to move fast, right? Because there's other people waiting to be seated. Now, as you're doing your job, you also need to make sure that you're using cleaning materials appropriately to wipe down the eating area. So making sure that you are using whatever cleaning supplies, whether it is a dish towel that has some cleaning, maybe like some soap or Lysol or whatever it is, you need to make sure that you clean it appropriately. That way you're not spreading germs. So you have to know how to clean the table and do it the right way. You also need to be able to navigate a restaurant without getting in the way of others. You're pushing a big cart. You don't want to run into waiters or customers because that can be, pretty catastrophic, right? You also need to be able to wash dishes correctly using soap and warm water to make sure that you are getting rid of all of the leftover food debris from the previous patron. And you need to be able to set a table in the event that waiters or waitresses are too busy. You'll be helping assist in setting a table. So making sure there's a fork, a knife, a spoon, the napkin and the plate and whatever else, depending on the type of restaurant that you work in. All right, here is a chef/cook. So a chef/cook is someone whose job it is to take and create a customer's food order, depending on if it's a fast food restaurant or a sit-down restaurant. At a sit-down restaurant, the cook or chef will not take the customer's food order. Generally, that's going to be the waiter or waitress. But if you work in a fast food restaurant, you might take the customer's order and then make the customer's order. So you're pulling double duty in that event. You work with kitchen utensils and cooking utensils such as a stove, oven, etc. in a restaurant's kitchen. So here we have a picture of someone, it's a Jimmy John's restaurant. It looks like she's probably a cook in a fast food restaurant. So she's taking the customer's order and they're doing an assembly line where each person handles one part of the food order until it gets to the cashier. So that's kind of nice. You need to, be able to work with individuals and multitask since you're not only taking the customer's order in, but you also have to go and make it. So here are some chefs in a restaurant. They are making a fancy dish. They have a bunch of utensils around them. It looks like it's a sushi restaurant, so pretty fancy. All right. So the requirements for a job of chef slash cook at a restaurant, super important. You need to demonstrate proper cooking safety. That means heating foods to the required temperature and storing foods in a refrigerator until they're needed, as well as proper food handling skills. You need to wash your hands constantly. Typically, you'll wear gloves and a hair cover. You want to make sure that you are not doing anything inappropriate with the food. So if you touch something dirty, you need to go and wash your hands because you're handling food and you can get people sick if you don't handle food the correct way. A chef slash cook also needs to know the restaurant menu completely to make a customer's order. So not only do you need to know what the different items are, you need to know what the different components of each menu item are. So you're putting it together, right? Which is a pretty big deal. You want to make sure that you make the customer's order correctly, especially if they have food allergies, because they can get sick otherwise. You also need to maintain a clean kitchen prep area. So making sure that you're not leaving food debris all over the place, making sure to routinely clean your station so that you don't spread germs or attract some unsavory, furry friends to the area. And last but not least, you need to be able to work with others in a fast-paced environment. So a restaurant's kitchen is pretty hectic. There's a lot of people doing a lot of different things. It's probably pretty warm back there, and you need to be able to communicate with others and work with others. As you saw in the first photo, they were doing an assembly line of preparing the customer's order. So you need to know what your role is, and you need to complete it correctly so that everyone does their fair part and they do so in a timely manner. So fast-paced just means you got to move fast, but also appropriately, making sure that you are, again, demonstrating good cooking safety, good food handling safety, and a clean area, okay? So we'll talk more about these positions during class, and we'll go through examples of how to fulfill or complete these positions in our worksheets. I will see you guys then.